Sometimes when people of faith are talking about money, there are two extreme thoughts. And one of them is that poverty is good and wealth is bad. Of course, one of the questions I would ask with that way of thinking is, if poverty is so good, then why does God ask us in so many times in both the Old Testament and the New Testament to help people out of poverty? If it's so good, let's just leave them there. But I don't think it is good. And I don't think wealth is necessarily bad. There are people in the Bible who are wealthy. And some of them, it even says, because God made them that way. The Bible does say, however, in 1 Timothy 6:10, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. So it's not wealth, it's the love of wealth. It's not possessing money, it's letting money possess you that becomes a problem. But there's another kind of thinking, another extreme on this topic, and that is that poverty comes to the ungodly and wealth is given to the godly. That was the worldview for a lot of people who lived in Bible times. However, there are many people in the Bible, in history, and even today who don't fit exactly into these categories. There have been and there are poor people who love God and are living for Him. There have been and there are rich people who are living lives that are far, far from God. So I think either one of these is pretty much like if you're walking down a road and there's a ditch on either side, you don't want to end up in either ditch. You want to stay on that path on the road. And that's pretty much in most things where I think God is. He's a little closer to middle than way over on one side or the other side. And in fact, the balanced view, which I believe is the view God most consistently presents in Scripture, can be found in a prayer in Proverbs chapter 30, part of which is right behind me here. And the author of that proverb says, give me, he's praying to God, give me neither poverty nor riches, but give me only my daily bread. Otherwise, I may have too much and disown you and say, who's the Lord? Or I may become poor and steal and so dishonor the name of my God. So rather than one extreme or the other, let's take a look at what God presents as a more balanced view. It's not having money that's wrong, it's loving it. It's not a sign of godliness to live in poverty. It might be the sign of an unhealthy mindset. It might be the sign of living in a corrupt government. It might be the sign of natural disaster that you've been faced with. There could be a lot of reasons for it. But God's position is more one of learning to be content with not having a lot and learning to be content with not having too little. Either one is an extreme, but the balance is found in this prayer in Proverbs chapter 30, verses 8 and 9. The issue really is one of stewardship. That is, God's the owner of everything, and we are just His managers. And we'll talk more about that in the next video cast about managing God's resources.